If you ask me, fan works of popular IPs like art and games are an incredibly important part of the ecosystem that supports the IP's success. It encourages engagement, it celebrates connection, and increases the longevity of the project's prominence in the public eye, sometimes for better and sometimes for worse. Without the dedicated, creative fans of our favorite games, we wouldn't have Black Mesa, the fan-made reimagining of Half-Life, or Sonic Mania, developed by a team of renowned Sonic fan game and ROM hack developers. We wouldn't have had the Earthbound Halloween hack, which influenced Toby Fox's career in game development and the creation of Undertale, and we wouldn't have Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden, the inspiration for the game that almost was, the kickstarted and dearly departed Barkley 2. Bionicle: Quest for Matanui, a forthcoming open-world RPG about the long-retired LEGO line of Bionicle toys, is a fan project that has already been so critically acclaimed that the LEGO Games team themselves have jumped in to give their blessing, with an original voice actor even providing dialogue and voiceovers to promote it. This is all just to reinforce my point though. Fan projects are a necessity. In Western RPG Maker communities, lots of fan games pop up in the engines, sometimes even using hollowed out and modified versions of the original games. You can very easily open off Yume Nikki or Space Funeral using the original version of RPG Maker 2003, while games in later engines offer varying levels of success and access. But in addition to RPG Maker titles, tons of fan games exist in the engines dedicated to more prominent series too. An assortment of horror Pokemon games, like Nightmare Invasion Edition and Pokemon Nightfall, are constantly in the rotation of popular YouTuber Let's Plays. Other stuff, like Mother, Cognitive Dissonance, and Mario RPG: The Seven Sages, sit prominently in their games' respective communities as worthwhile experiences on their own. Now, I totally have a bias, but that's because I have an idea of how much work went into the games. Not only have I watched as fan games came and went in the communities I'm a part of, but I've compiled a small list of cool resources too. So allow me to share a handful of resources and plugins for RPG Maker developers looking to replicate their favorite series and create something in tribute to your favorite games. If you want to make a Pokemon game, there's nothing better than the Pokemon Essentials Kit, a template project in RPG Maker XP that's been in development since 2011. The template is almost identical to Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green games, and is an excellent alternative to crafting a ROM hack, as it offers endless flexibility and learning potential. For developers using RPG Maker MV, there isn't quite something as definitive, but some random dude offers a myriad of plugins that can work to transform the stock RPG Maker combat engine into a more Pokemon-like experience. I mentioned Nightmare Invasion earlier as one of my favorite goofy Pokemon fan games, but for something more traditional, you can't go wrong with Pokémon Insurgence, a massive expansion to the 6th generation Pokemon world that you know and love that stays true to the heart of the series, while offering features Game Freak would never. Features like Nuzlocke mode and other difficulty challenges. Get with the freaking times, Game Freak! Earthbound has an extensive history with RPG Maker developers as well, due in part to the popularity of Cognitive Dissonance, and a community I frequently observed while growing up, the Starman.net forum and its fan projects board. In the early days, a website called RPG Maker 2K was frequently cited on the board for its extensive collection of engine-organized graphics and sounds ripped from Earthbound itself. These files are still available and useful for working in RPG Maker 2000 and 2003 flawlessly. The site even has a design reminiscent of the early creativity of the internet, so I'm glad it's still available to use. Earthbound also has its own Essentials package, but it's not as illustrious as the previous Pokemon edition. Instead, it's a fantastic technical demo and a great starting point built in RPG Maker VX Ace. The battle system is designed to work somewhere between Mother 2 and 3, but offers flexibility to make it look as close or as far as the source material as you'd want. Some awesome Earthbound fan games developed in RPG Maker include Cognitive Dissonance, the legendary fan link between the Mother series of games, and Omori. Just kidding. Kind of? Yume Nikki likely offers the largest breadth of fan game potential, with the game's humble roots taking place in RPG Maker 2003 and the handful of ways it can be opened and modified. Bases exist for further customization like this template, which avoids breaking the original game files and is an original build using the stock 2K3 graphics. Fan games of Yume Nikki include a lot of popular projects like .Flow, Yume Tuki, and Fleshchild, all renowned for their own ingenious twists on the game's original mechanics. But some of my favorites are Yume Wiki, where you play as a guinea pig, and it's so cute. and an incredible project called the Yume Nikki Online project, which turns the original game and an assortment of these popular fan games into MMOs of sorts, where you can chat and explore with other players. Beyond being cool as heck for Yume Nikki fans, the potential this project can offer the rest of the RPG Maker 2003 community has yet to be seen. Final Fantasy fans are perhaps the most gifted RPG Maker developers of all, given that the engine is catered to creating systems similar to those games since the early days. If you wanted your battle system to look like Dragon Quest, you use RPG Maker 2000, but beyond that, the engine allows creative ways to recreate the Final Fantasy style effortlessly. A bestiary system created by Blue Moon and based on Final Fantasy II is a great example of a plugin extension that gets as specific to the series as possible. And if that plugin isn't impressive enough, Raizen's Triple Triad plugin replicates the Final Fantasy VIII card game almost identically, but with full customization. A complete game, Triple Triad, Tournament of the Elements, utilizes this plugin by crafting the Final Fantasy compendium of characters as competitive card players, similar to the portrayal of Pokemon card players in the original Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color. It might go without saying, but there's a ton of Final Fantasy fan games out there. I talk about the Black Moon Prophecy games a bunch, but games like Final Fantasy VII Regenesis and Final Fantasy IV Altered Destiny are awesome tributes to their respective reference points. And Miranda, a short visual novel by Brickroad and built in RPG Maker 2000, tells a short fanfiction about characters from Final Fantasy VI using the original graphics, and it's pretty good. With most resources this specifically focused, I can't promise that, at the point of you watching this video, they haven't disappeared from the internet completely, but their existence offers a glimpse into the inclusivity of the communities representing these games and the potential you might pull for the development in your next project. Thanks for watching.